Hello and welcome back to the Euro Roundup, where we discuss the winners and losers from the continent. Joining me today is Zach Jalad. Pato is off, and I think Chris is at a wedding.
Yeah, and Joe's at Spa.
Joe's at a spa.
Oh, if only.
All right for some, but some of us have to work. And we're going to kick off with Napoli, and this came in from Maddie, CHH. Why is that, Zach?
Well, Napoli kicked off their Serie A campaign with a thrilling 4-3 victory over Fiorentina away from home in a game which kicked off with a controversial 9th-minute pen. The ball was kicked against the Zielinski's arm from point-blank range, with the resultant penalty being tucked away by new signing Eric Pulgar, with further goals coming from Mertens, Insigne with 2, Milinkovic, Boateng and Callejon. Although it was an entertaining game, both sides were pretty wasteful, with 35 shots between them, 20 to 15 to Fiorentina, but only 8 on target, 5 to 3 to Fiorentina. The underlying numbers suggest both sides were pretty evenly matched, with expected goals rating it at 1.94 to 1.95 in Napoli's favour. Ancelotti will be slightly concerned with his side's defence though. They conceded 36 goals in 38 games last season, only bettered by Inter and Juve, but the addition of Manolas didn't make them any more solid in this game. They conceded 11.4 shots per game last season, the third best record in Serie A, but 20 against is more than any side conceded on average in Serie A's last season. Parma, who got 19.8. So, I personally don't really rate Manolas.
No, you don't. Never really have, or at least for this Napoli side.
Yeah, I think he's an okay defender, but I think for him to fit into Napoli's kind of system with a high press and having to make so many passes when he was only really making about 29 last season is a lot to be asked for. Yeah. However, how are Fiorentina? Because I do like Fiorentina. I felt they were unlucky to be where they were last season.
Yeah, I mean, they were pretty unlucky at times. I think expected goals suggested they should have been more in mid-table rather than threatened by relegation.
A lot of draws. Exactly,
a lot of draws. But this is a pretty promising performance by them, especially considering they've had quite a low-key transfer window thus far. They sold £9 million worth of talent, with their most notable outgoing being Jordan Veretout on loan to Roma, and only spent £13.2 million. Of that sum, £9 million went on goalscorer Eric Pulgar, who's a 25-year-old defensive midfielder brought in from Bologna. His 18-19 stats look like this: 28 Serie A games, 6 goals, 2 assists, 4.4 tackles and interceptions, 1.3 shots, 2.3 key passes, and 84% pass accuracy. And I'm not going to pull the wool over your eyes. I'm going to admit that I don't know a hell of a lot about Eric Pulgar, but these are some pretty promising statistics, and he got off to a flyer in this game with that goal as well. Another new arrival also got on the score sheet in Kevin Prince Boateng, who's joined on loan from Sassuolo.
How does he keep doing it?
Fresh from 6 months in the wilderness at Barcelona. Absolutely pointless spell in which he played 240 La Liga minutes in the back half of 18-19, brought in to rest Suarez and Messi in easy league games, and he just wasn't up to that task, let alone shining at Barcelona. Other key performers in this game: Fabian Ruiz had a very good game for Napoli, 3 tackles and interceptions, 2 dribbles, 4 key passes, 92% pass accuracy, 2 shots, continuing his good form from last campaign. But man of the match probably had to be Lorenzo Insigne. 2 dribbles, 4 key passes, 89% pass accuracy, 3 shots, 2 assists, 2 key passes. Fantastic all-round performance from him. Crucial win for Napoli. They just about scraped over the line in this, but especially considering they've got Juventus next up.
Oh, Jesus.
Who beat Parma 1-0 away from home. So Napoli, they'll be looking to, sort out some defensive frailties in this game, in that game either. But Napoli fans, let us know, what did you guys think of this performance? Was it a bit shaky? Are you a bit concerned about the season ahead, especially with Inter Milan and Juventus doing some great recruitment? And what do you think is going to happen? Let us know in the comments below. Let's move on to our first loser. Before we move on to our first loser, which is Benfica, just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, what the hell are you doing? And hit that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. But we'll talk about Benfica, which came in from Eagle Boy 78, Zach.
We are indeed. It's a game they lost, which could be very important already during this time in the season, as they lost to Porto 2-0.
Porto.
The old Classico, what a game. I would have loved to see it. That's one of the games I actually do want to see in my lifetime. Seemed like it was going to be hotly contested, but this wasn't the case, with the Eagles having the lion's share of possession with just 53%, but that's as good as it got for them, to be honest, as they only managed 5 shots to Porto's 11 and didn't put a single one on target, whilst Porto got 5. And XG supported this result. Porto managed a total of 0.99, whilst Benfica could only get 0.22. It's their lowest in a Premier League game since the start of 2017-18 season. Yes, it must be said though that it was a good team performance for the Dragons. Every single outfield player, including the subs, managed to make at least one tackle.
That's mental.
And Z. Luis was their main man. The Cape Verde native managed 2 shots, putting both on target, grabbing a goal, winning 4 aerial duels and completing 6 dribbles. I'd never heard of him before. They bought him this season. Apparently he played 4 years in Russia.
He had. I hadn't heard of him at all, but then I was there a couple of weeks ago watching Porto thrash Setúbal and Zé Luís scored a hat-trick.
Wow.
So he has started the season in flying form. In contrast to Benfica, who never really got going in this game. Alejandro Grimaldo failed more passes in 45 minutes of action with 12 than against any other opponent in 90 minutes in Premier Liga this season. And they really seem to have been missing João Felix. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, the guy started his Atletico Madrid career on fire even. And although they've won 2 of their 3 games so far this season, there are some telling signs. So last season, they were taking 17 shots per game, the second best in the league, whilst this year that's dropped to 13.7, the 9th best in Liga NOS at this early stage, missing the teenagers' huge 2.7 shots per game. The club have seemingly not sort of spent that €126 million fee on replacements, only bringing in Raul de Thomas from Real Madrid and Carlos Vinícius from Napoli for a combined €33 million. Also promoting 20-year-old Jota to the first team. So there's money in the bank if they wanted to change that before I think it's the 2nd of September deadline. But they now sit 4th in Liga NOS after 3 games, with Porto just 1 place higher and Sporting at the top of the table. Weirdly, 2nd place is currently occupied by Famalicão. Sorry if I butchered that.
I think you smashed that.
I tried my best. A team who were promoted last year and currently have a Stoke City player on loan. But I was talking to, because I put up a video when I went to the Porto game, being like, oh, I'm at this game, tell me who to look out for or whatever. And lots of Porto fans were being like, this is actually one of our worst teams in years, because they lost Hector Herrera, they lost Felipe in the summer, Casillas is retired, and they weren't that overwhelmed with their signings that have come in, but Zé Luís seems to have proved them wrong. But Benfica fans, do you think you can recover from this damaging defeat? Let us know in the comments below, and let's move on to our next winner.
We move on to our next winner now, and it comes from @VSGame8, who has suggested Timo Werner of RB Leipzig fame. Why is that?
Well, fantastic week for the striker. He celebrated a new contract extension with the opener in his side's 2-1 victory over Eintracht Frankfurt at the weekend even. Werner's contract was running out at the end of this season, and it was absolutely imperative that Nagelsmann and the Leipzig board got this done. It now sees him earn €7 million a year, with a lowly release clause of just €30 million according to Kicker, opening himself up to a future move, but at least it guarantees that they'll get a fee for him, as opposed to for leaving on a free next year with Bayern Munich still sniffing. Bild also report that the release clause will drop every season, but can also actually be worth up to €60 million depending on performances. Okay. Unclear whether it's player, club, or both on that front. His contract aside, his goal in this game means that he's now got a goal in both bully appearances so far this season, and means that new boss Nagelsmann becomes the first RB Leipzig manager to win his opening 3 games in all competitions.
Can't be many of them.
Yeah, exactly. And there was little to no action in heading into half-time. It was actually a good omen for Leipzig. They've never lost a game whilst leading at the break for the entirety of last campaign, and they didn't falter here either. But it wasn't a thriller by any means.
No, it was very much a game of 2 halves. Leipzig's 2 best chances, combined 1.1 XG, both came in the 17th minute from Werner and Nkunku, whilst Frankfurt were building pressure into the second. The opposition had 59% possession in the second half, they had 52% in the first half, and 7 shots with 4 on target compared to 3 with 1 on target before half-time. And it's quite a weird game to look at other stats from. Just 8 aerial duels for the entire game.
Wow.
Which, especially in the Bundesliga, is unheard of. For context, Dortmund versus Cologne had 26, while Schalke versus Bayern had 24. Now, it says a lot about the type of games both Nagelsmann and Adi Hütter aim to play. Klotzmann, who created 2 chances from wing-back, were both low crosses or passed into the box. Now, there's no real glamour ties next week, unfortunately, in the Bundesliga, with Leipzig playing Gladbach and Nagelsmann's former side Hoffenheim facing Bayer Leverkusen. But with 5 teams in the Bundesliga with 100% records so far this season, one of them not being Bayern Munich, could this be an open title race?
Ooh.
Let us know in the comments below. But let's be honest,
Probably not, yeah. Right, our second and final loser is AC Milan, and this comes in from friend of the channel, Menez18.
What a man. Well, he's going to be very sad considering Marco Giampaolo's reign at the San Siro got off to a very underwhelming start following a 1-0 defeat to Udinese. The only goal of the game came with around 20 minutes left as Rodrigo Bacau nodded in from Rodrigo de Paul's corner. AC Milan did put up 60% possession and had 14 shots, but had an XG of just 0.68 as none of their shots found the target, which says a lot. There wasn't much balance though in Milan's midfield, a three of Barini, Çalhanoğlu and Paqueta, with Suso playing as a 10, as Castillejo also out of position playing as a striker alongside Piontek. So, especially when they brought on Kessier and Benassa, who came on to try and provide a bit more balance. I don't understand why he didn't start them.
No.
Maybe Benassa makes a bit more sense because he's just joined. However, Kessier, he's been there for a couple of years.
They said he
now.
was going to play 4-3-1-2, but I saw after the game that he's thinking of now changing it as well, Giampaolo. So stick with your guns, I reckon. Don't just change it after one result, but not a good start.
Well, as it says on the script here, literally nothing positive to take from this for Milan.
Okay.
However, if you are going to take one positive thing, they can only improve.
Yeah, I think that's one way of looking at it. I mean, judging it from the highlights which I watched this morning, they just didn't really create anything. And Udinese had quite a lot of opportunities to just basically freely run through midfield. But, you know, let's get on to Udinese because they're anticipating another season of mid-table mediocrity despite hiring a new manager in Igor Tudor. And this opening day win provides some early optimism. So Rodrigo Bacau put in a man-of-the-match performance on his debut. The 23-year-old joined for just 1.8 million euros this summer from Bahia in Brazil. After a loan spell in CSKA in Russia, he put up a 90% pass completion, won 4 aerial duels, and won 100% of his tackles. Well done, Rodrigo. Former Man City Academy member Seko Fofana even also performed well, also completing 90% of his passes, completing 4 dribbles and winning 2 tackles. What a performance from him. And a mention to Rodrigo de Paul. I can't believe he's still at Udinese, but he was definitely their star player last season. He came on in the 72nd minute of this game, and his first touch was the assist for the winner. Lovely in-swinging corner and a great header as well.
There's rumours of him leaving.
Oh, really?
Because he's, apparently starting on the bench. It was a bit weird, but which doesn't surprise me.
Who are the rumours? Do you know where he's being linked
well,
with?
originally there were rumours to buy Leverkusen,
Really?
but however, Bayer Leverkusen have done some more business now, essentially to replace Brandt, but that doesn't seem likely. I don't know. He seems like a very good player that could probably deserves a bit of
Yeah,
move.
he can play it in quite a few different positions as well. He can play off the striker, he can play a bit further deeper as well. I think he can even play wide. So he's definitely got the versatility, and I think he's still 25, so he's definitely got a big move in him. Udinese will continue next week at home to Parma, who lost to Juventus 1-0, whilst Milan host newly promoted Brescia, where they could face former player Mario Balotelli. So expect fireworks. It's going to be fascinating. Just before we move on, Zach, are you still confident that Juventus will win?
I think Serie A?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be tougher. I think Conte looks interesting. His Inter Milan side looks very interesting. If there's one manager who's going to do it, it might be him.
That leads us on nicely to our star of the week. No guesses for who that is?
As smooth as you like there from Doogie Critchley, because yes, our star of the week is Romelu Lukaku, who scored on his first Serie A debut for Inter Milan in a comprehensive...
On his first debut?
Yeah. Jesus. Anyway, in a 4-0 win over 10-men Lecce. It means the Belgian, who arrived for a £74 million fee this summer, has now scored in his league debut for each of his last 4 clubs. Didn't play for Chelsea, so that's a sad thing. Anyway, he had a solid all-round game, playing up front alongside Martinez, making 1 tackle, 2 dribbles, 4 key passes, which is actually very, very good. 1 shot and 1 goal.
Yeah, his hold-up play in this game was excellent. I thought Inter Milan were really exciting.
He's going to kill it in Serie A. He's going to absolutely
He had so much more space. I know that they were playing against 10 men, but I think their sending off didn't come until the 74th minute. So up until then, I thought he looked really good. And AC Milan were having so much space Inter Milan, so much space down the wings with Asamoah, and I think it was Candreva playing on the right wing back. Great start for the Nerazzurri. They were 3-0 up after 60 minutes through Brozovic, who scored a beautiful goal. Sensi, who scored a really nice goal as well, dribbling through the sort of centre of the goal. And Lukaku, before Diego Farias was sent off, he was a substitute, came on and basically studded Barella on the back. It was a pretty dirty challenge, really. And Candreva, who only netted once last season, then scored a 30-yard screamer.
It is mental.
Favourite goal of the weekend by a distance to wrap up the win. Very comprehensive victory for Inter, 24 shots to 17. Did concede quite a few shots, but most of Lecce's shots were from pretty bad areas. They only got 3 on target to Inter Milan's 8. XG rated at 2.1 to 0.4 in Inter Milan's favour. They're now top of Serie A on goal difference, and I thought it was a really good first display, especially considering that they didn't really have their first choice back 3. I think it was Ranocchia, Skriniar and D'Ambrosio started.
Okay, so they've still got Godin.
So De Vrij, Godin to come in. So there's still a lot of...
Handanovic still playing now?
Handanovic was still
35?
playing. 35.
Jesus
still
Christ.
Still a trophy as well, poor guy. What a servant, but yeah, hasn't really had the just rewards for his career so far. But yeah, maybe they can change that this year. Inter Milan flying start. Nerazzurri fans, let us know what you guys thought of your victory in the comments down below. And let's just roll straight into the end ball, because there's no winners and losers to push to today. But Zach, is there anything you'd like the good people to go and do now?
Well, yesterday, Squad Goals went live, so make sure you check that one out. Keep your eyes peeled for next week's episode, where Patrick Van Straten makes his debut, and a certain Doogie Critchley gets another call-up. And all I'm saying... Reborn.
I don't know what
it was ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it.
It was freakish. I don't know. I can't play FIFA, but I don't know what happened in that game. But yeah, tune in for that and stay on Eurofootball Daily and check out all the stat wars, the leagues as well. Thanks very much for watching, guys. We'll see you later. Bye.